before this video starts, I just gotta say I'm sorry. I'm gonna be real. I didn't respect Wugtrio, and I'm starting to see the vision. Yo, what's going on today, guys? Back here for another video talking about the new EX Pokemon. Basically, I want to go into a deep dive and give some more thoughts now that I've had a couple hours to think about them. And yeah, I'm basically going to start with the ones that I just think are pretty bad. So starting off with the worst EX that I personally think is going to be completely garbage, I don't think is going to be seen at all, is Bibarel EX. So if we look at Bidoof right now, obviously we will get a new Bidoof with it, but the current one is 2 energy to basically half the HP of your opponent's Pokemon. I feel like they made this one 4 energy, so you can't use that and then evolve into it. Even then, I don't think it would still be good, but 160 HP, 100 damage for 4 energy, 3 retreat costs, or the thing is not getting retreated, by the way, once it goes in, and all you do is heal 30 damage after attacking. So even with the healing, this thing is not living 2 hits, bro, from most things in the meta. Like, especially Arceus, which is probably still going to be meta relevant. Maybe not the best deck in the game, maybe still is, maybe still strong but not as dominant. I just don't see this thing being good. I actually genuinely think this thing is just worse than Lapras, because at least Lapras is a basic that can be played with water, and so it has access to Irida as well, and Misty on like turn 1, where like Bibarel, like I don't see the vision. I think this card is probably, this actually genuinely might be the worst EX, unless the Bidoof is super cracked that comes out with it, or if there's like some support card like Barry that somehow lets you attack with like 2 energy, unless you attack like super early without needing like 4 energy on the card. That's the only way I could see this thing being maybe slightly good. So that was the worst EX from the new set. All the other ones I would say are pretty decent, or can be possibly decent depending on what other cards obviously come in the set we don't know. Like, a lot of these cards could either be good or bad depending on like what other cards come out. Next one I'm going to talk about Pikachu. So originally I kind of thought Pikachu was cracked because 150 damage is kind of what I zoned in on. I didn't even think about the HP in this meta. Plus Rampardo's probably got a buff with Lucario EX. Sudowoodo still destroys this thing. So I'm thinking Pikachu possibly gets played as like a 1-of maybe. Like I'm thinking like Magneton Dawn. Like I still think the 150 damage is nice. It's literally just a Raichu, but a stage 1, and it's also an EX, so you get the negative of 2 points. The 120 HP, bro, is just like probably what holds us back. Like even with Giant Cape, Arceus Geo still one-shots. Not only that, but we have the introduction of Red, so it actually could take plus 20 damage possibly. You're like, imagine like Sudowoodo with a Lucario out, and that's doing 90 damage. Plus Red, but that's like, dude, that's basically almost one-shot in this Pikachu EX. And 3 energy is kind of a commitment where like at least like Raichu, you have Lieutenant Surge, so you could do like other things. Maybe there's a support card or like a new electric type. I know we have the Pachirisu that can charge it up. At the same time, that Pachirisu is very squishy at 70 HP, which, you know, 70 HP for like a basic non-EX, you know, that doesn't evolve is actually pretty nice. Because it could definitely be worse, but it could be like 60 50. Still weak to fighting, which is a very dominant type and has been since not Triumph but Space Time. And the Pachi, yes, it lets you take an energy from your energy zone and attach it to Pikachu, but at the same time that's only doing 10 damage, so like I guess like 160 damage, but like, dude, like they need to like Shaman Hill that up, and all they have to do is knock out Pachirisu, which is very fragile, and then Pikachu, which is also like very fragile. So we got to see what other electric types come in. I think Pikachu might, like, that's why I said like Magneton Dawn is what I'm thinking, like maybe like a 1-of Pikachu EX, but from what we know now, I don't see Pikachu EX actually being super good. Like maybe if you go second it can be, but even then, like I don't know, like you'd have to go like second with Magnemite and then evolve in the Magneton of Dawn. I just feel like that's like such a low chance of that happening like consistently. Although I don't know is a card, so possibly. So next up we have Clodsire, which is a Pokemon very similar to Scolipede, but basically an EX stage 1 version. where it does additional damage, possibly 120 if the opponent's Pokemon is poisoned, so 130 damage basically. And so let's just look at all the poison types. So right now the Pokemon that can poison are Toxicroak, which is complete garbage. We have Skuntank, which 2 energy for 50 damage and poison. Not the worst. I mean, also you can't technically search Skunky with Team Galactic, so that could be something, that could be like a possibility. But it's also a stage 1, and it has 2 retreat costs. We also have, obviously we have Weezing from Genetic Apex with Koga, which probably, I'm assuming, is still the best because it's, you know, the poison plus the 30 damage. And, you know, like the ability to like Koga out, although I don't feel like Koga is as important anymore because a lot of things just one-shot Weezing. But like I feel like the option to do it is still cool, plus, you know, Weezing is 1 energy. We have Whirlpede, which is the stage 1 of Scolipede, but I don't think you'd be playing Scolipede and Clodsire in the same deck, as Clodsire is literally just a better Scolipede. We have Nidoking, which is the same situation. You're not even playing a stage 2, just the poison. And yeah, so we like the only really good poison types, like obviously we probably will get a poison type with Clodsire, plus I bet you Wooper actually does poison, so I bet you that's gonna be a thing. But like right now, like let's just say Wooper doesn't poison, best option probably just Weezing Koga. Also stage 1 160 HP, bro, it's actually pretty tanky. And it is a dark type, so you could play it with Darkrai, possibly. Or even like Weavile, where because you're playing poison, and if Wooper does actually poison, you possibly could play Weavile in the deck or something like Clodsire Weavile. Like maybe not as good as Darkrai, because, you know, it's a stage 1 instead of a basic. But I don't think it's like totally garbage. I think we just gotta wait to see like how good the poison, like how good are you able to send poison. Not only that, but Arceus also can't be poisoned, so if Arceus is still meta relevant, then this Pokemon probably won't be meta relevant. Although I love Clodsire, bro, still I think a cool addition. Plus the art is actually fire, bro. I love the poison around the card. So next up, the one I don't think that's gonna be as good as the others is Tinkaton EX. So stage 2, 170 HP, which, you know, pretty average for stage 2, being around like the 180 range to like 160. Actually I think most of them are like 170 to be honest, or above. I don't think there's one that's under, but who knows. If it is, it's probably not meta relevant. So 3 metal energy, so you're probably gonna be playing Dolga unless there's like another like metal ramper, or like some like maybe like one of the evolutions ramps up energy. But 3 energy for 80 damage, and if you land a heads it does 160, or it does 80 more, so you do 160 total. Nope, actually pretty good if you can land the heads. Basically just a Marowak, that's a stage 2, and 1 additional energy, and you don't get the downside of landing like a Tails, like 2 Tails and getting nothing. I can see it popping off, you know, if you have a very lucky run. I think with the addition of Iono, actually I feel like stage 2 Pokemon actually might get a huge buff, which is something I'll talk about later. But yeah, I feel like if we set this thing up, get some lucky coin flips, I feel like you could actually like demolish your opponent. So at first I was thinking this was kind of bad, but like 160 does one-shot most things, at least in this meta. Might change later on. Maybe stage 2 Pokemon pop off this meta, but as of right now, it's not bad. It's not totally incredible, bro. I think it's just an alright card. It's nothing crazy. And one thing I guess I could mention about Tinkaton is I guess you could play like Skarmory with it, like have Skarmory like frontline, and then have Tinkaton in the back, so you could like, one has to go through like 2 Skarmories before Tinkaton. Could be something to think about. But maybe you just play with Dolga still. Maybe you don't. Maybe there's a new metal type that comes out that's really good of it. We still gotta wait and see. So next up is Giratina EX, and originally I wasn't thinking Giratina's EX thing was like an ability. I was thinking it was like a move, kind of like similar like Moltres and like Charizard. But no, you could use its ability on the bench to put a psychic energy on it. And yeah, so you could do that on the bench, although it does end the turn. 150 HP is nice if you are at full HP. The downside I think is 4 energy, so let's say you're not putting energy on this thing, but you're just using its ability each turn. 1, you won't be able to attack with anything, so that's already iffy. and it's gonna take a lot of turns, at least 2, before you can attack it if you go second. And I think the thing that holds it back is, one is the psychic type, so bad in the Darkrai, bad in the Clodsire if Clodsire is meta relevant. Revo, obviously Darkrai Revo is pretty good. And the thing about this, 130 damage, you know, that's actually a very good range, because that's the same as Arceus. But you do 20 damage to yourself, so as soon as you attack, it opens itself to getting knocked out by itself, or most things nowadays, especially Arceus, or anything using red. So I feel like it did need to damage itself, and it still would have been fine. But I think the fact that it damages itself, actually, I really don't think Giratina EX is going to be good. Unless there's like a broken psychic type that is also in this pack. So next up we have Beedrill EX, which, I'm gonna be real, I think potentially the ability on the attack, or the bonus of the attack, I don't know what they're called. I think it's just, yeah, the effect of the attack. So 2 energy, 80 damage. So it's very similar to Gallade, in where it's a stage 2. I mean, literally 170 HP, 1 retreat cost. It's literally just Gallade, but different attack. But grass, obviously. 80 damage. And you discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Something like Arceus, I don't think it's going to matter. I think they're going to, you know, you delete one, they just put one back. And because they're playing Dogga, they probably just have stuff set up. Depending on the meta, like if you're going against like a Palkia, I can see this definitely being super useful. Stuff like Palkia. I guess if someone's playing the old Charizard that does 200 damage, basically like anything that has to discard, like especially like this basically kills John Mega. Like if you play John Mega in the Beedrill, you're never attacking, bro, after that one time. I think potentially this card can be cracked because of Spigorito. If Meowscarada is super good, yeah, that's 2 stage 2s, but Spigorito lets you add grass types into your hand. And let's say you add a bunch of cards to your hand and your opponent Ionos. I mean, you're still drawing the same amount of cards, so you shouldn't be screwed actually. So I don't think Iono is going to be as bad. I think it's going to be annoying in certain situations, but it's definitely not going to be as bad as like red card and stuff. So yeah, if you can get Beedrill pretty fast, dude, I feel like you could be super annoying depending on like what meta decks are relevant. And if everything is like if we're playing a meta where like there's like high energy cost, bro, and like a lot of the decks aren't like ramp up decks, could potentially be like super annoying. And also obviously, you know, grass types have access to Erica. You don't need Leafeon because, you know, it's 2 energy, you don't need to ramp up. But yeah, I feel like Beedrill possibly can be solid. We just basically got to see what type of decks are meta. Lucario EX, 150 HP, Aura Spare, 100 damage for 3 energy, 100 damage to the active, and then 30 damage to one of the bench. So it's like a Empoleon. 2 retreat cost, same thing as like the regular one. Thing about Lucario is Rampardos is already a super strong deck. With the addition of red, it makes them even better against EX Pokemon than they already were with the addition, like with Sudowoodo and stuff, and like Marshadow. So I feel like they could just run 1 Lucario EX, possibly even 2. And not probably just 1, because, you know, it's a non-EX deck. They probably don't want an EX early game. So I can see like 2 Lucarios, 1 Lucario EX, and as like a late game option, could be something. Or there also could be like a whole deck just focused around Lucario EX, like Hitmonlee Lucario EX, doing a bunch of damage to the bench, getting like 2 knockouts at the same time on the active and a bench Pokemon. Could be something to look out for, because I mean, fighting types just have so many good Pokemon: Sudowoodo, Marshadow, Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, the regular Lucario, Rampardos. I think, like I said, I think this card is definitely one that is going to have some better relevance. Especially if Arceus is still around, because I feel like this card can definitely cook Arceus. So next up we have Charizard EX, which is 180 HP, stage 2. It's a 3 retreat cost, which is kind of bad, kind of annoying. But I think once this is in, you're not really going to be swapping it out anyways. I feel like it's going to be an end game card. So for 1 energy, you could use Stoke, which puts 3 more energy on it. So after that, you'll have 4. Next turn 5, you can start doing Steam Artillery 150. Possibly it could still be played in Moltres, so you could just do the 150 right away. I feel like it's probably not. probably going to be played of something else. I feel like maybe like a new fire type in the thing, or like I'm trying to like think of other fire types, like maybe Heatran. Like maybe you could do like Heatran, Charizard, Arceus, something like that. I don't know. There's actually not a lot of good fire types. Like Moltres and Charizard are good. Arcanine had its moment in Genetic Apex and a little bit in Mythical Island. For the most part, like Heatran is probably like the best fire type we've gotten, and besides Infernape. But Infernape is like a stage 2, so that's always inconsistent. But like as far as like basic fire types or like stage 1s, we really don't have a lot of good ones. But I think the fact that this one Charizard can ramp up itself, and then 2, it does 150 damage, which is a really good threshold for damage numbers, combined with either Red or Giovanni to do 160 or 170. Maybe even Rocky Helmet too. I think it's gonna be possibly very strong, and I think because one Charizard is just a fan favorite card, it could be super strong. Also, it doesn't one-shot itself from Mew, so that could be a benefit, because like Mew could copy it, but then you could also just knock out Mew next turn maybe. But I feel like if Mew is still heavily played in the meta, and like Dog or Arceus, maybe Charizard won't see play just because of that factor. But there's no way to really know. So next up we have Wugtrio EX, which is a card I kind of disrespected, bruh. I kind of thought it was like, I'm like, why do they add it in this? But 140 HP, stage 1. It is a 3 energy. So it's basically Dragonite's attack, but instead of doing it 4 times, it does it 3 times. 50 damage for each Pokemon like it targets like randomly. And originally I thought this was kind of garbage, but then I was like, Dragonite's actually pretty decent. The only thing bad about Dragonite is it's 4 energy and it's dual energy into the stage 2, and it just takes a long time. We have Manaphy, Misty, Irida. This card potentially actually could be super cracked. Okay, it's either going to be super cracked or just straight garbage. I want to believe in it because it'd be super funny. Because like, you just imagine of like turn 1, landing 2 Misty Flips, evolving into the thing on your next turn, bro. If your opponent didn't place a bunch of things down, dude, that thing in the active spot is getting 150'd, getting obliterated. So yeah, I feel like this Pokemon card is like, it has a Dragonite situation. It's going to force your Pokemon or your opponent to place stuff down when they might not want to, which gives access to either Cyrus or Sabrina. Like I can see like Manaphy, Wugtrio, and then maybe either actual Palkia EX. Maybe it could be played of Glaceon as well. Maybe it could be played of Origin Palkia. I actually feel like this card. Also, I was convinced by my boy Ven. So shout out to you for making me believe in Wugtrio. Other than that though, I think it's time to talk about Red. I think Red could be either super toxic or super good for the game. Basically, I'm just thinking about Arceus doing 160 damage, or not 160, but 150 damage to like other EX Pokemon, which is kind of scary. But then I'm also thinking about like things doing 20 extra damage to Arceus and like one-shotting it. So, I think Red, we just have to kind of like wait and see what decks are in meta, because I feel like, dude, Rampardos might be like cook, bro. They just might cook all the EX decks with Red. And then we have Iono, which is a card that I was kind of like pissed about. Or like, not pissed, but like scared of when I first saw it. So each player shuffles their hand into the deck and draws the same amount of cards. So originally I was just thinking of like red card, how like it's very disruptive. But like red card, you could have like 6 things, you go down to 3. Or Mars, you go down to 1. You know, at least you're drawing the same amount. So like, let's say I have like 15 cards left in my deck. I have like 6 things in my hand. I should hopefully draw like the 1 card or the 2 cards I was needing back. At least sometimes. Like, I don't think it's gonna be super bad. Not only that, but you also could use it to unclog your hand and like maybe like find those like stage 2 evolutions you need. So I actually think Iono might be super positive for the game. I think it can buff stage 2s. At the same time, Arceus might be the best deck of the game, and it might just mop you before you get evolve and set up. So we gotta kind of like wait to see what the other cards are. Also, it could potentially disrupt your opponent. Like maybe they have like a Cyrus in their hand and you do it and they lose a Cyrus. I mean, because they draw the same amount, if they have a huge hand, maybe they do, but you also kind of like got to use it like skillfully. Like if you just need something, you could use it, but maybe you want to wait to like disrupt your opponent when they have like only like 2 cards in their hand, and then you take like the 50-50, like do they already have the Cyrus or do they not have the Cyrus? Like some mind games like that. Maybe Iono does like a similar red card situation where like it forces your opponent like to play the stuff in their hand so they don't lose it. Could also be something like that. So it could be very annoying, very toxic. Anyways, I think it will have impact. I think a lot of decks will run like one if possible. Anyways, that was like my deep dive I wanted to do on the new cards. I'm super excited, bro. We need to see the full list because I want to see the non-EX Pokemon, because the non-EX Pokemon, honestly, like, I feel like the most hype part. And plus, I want to see the other support cards, because obviously there's going to be more than just Red and now. I know at least one more. Anyways, let me know in the comments. Peace out. Have a lovely day.